Hey, how's it going today?
Hey man, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I got tons of questions, so let's jump right into this. The moment the film starts, we immediately pose the question about freedom and how free we truly are, because Mo Washington is literally a freed woman, and she's, she did her time, she served in the Civil War and so forth and so on. At the same time, we see a Native American being carried off, and truly pose the question again: how free are we really? So I want to know, in your personal lives, was there ever a moment where you actually felt truly free? Like, when was that moment for you when you actually felt truly free?
That's a good question. Jamie.
Birth. Like, look, what? Come on. That's not a question for me. For me,
Mhm.
like that is the way it is. I think. I don't know how else to really answer it.
Hmm, that is
Mm.
pretty
I've
hard.
never really particularly. You know what I mean. I don't know else is what to say, but
Yeah,
that's.
that's a pretty complex question. Um,
Mhm.
I think for me personally, it's just like in the choices that I tried to make, in my
Mm.
career, and again, like it's hard, but just like my no's are kind of like a freedom to me. If I say no to something,
Mm.
it's like I'm giving myself an extended like arm of like freedom. Like, yo, you can do it this way instead of that way that they told you that you should do it. I think that will be
Mm.
the closest thing I can get to that. Yeah.
All good answers. Can't deny those. Hey, Anthony, how's it going today?
How are you, man? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Let's jump right into this. Immediately watching Surrounded, you get the idea that this film really focuses on the idea of freedom and how it's determined in certain ways. And like, there's like a scene where Mo is walking, and right as soon as he walks by, there's a Native American being pulled away in cuffs, and while she is a freed person herself, and the kind of questions that what the idea of freedom is. So I'm curious to know, in your life, what where was a moment where you truly felt you were free? Like, you're free. What moment where you like really felt you were free?
Oh, it's about me.
Yeah, yeah, about you. I'm
you
sorry.
know, well, like look, we all have a different association with freedom and trauma and words like surrounded. There's probably a triple entendre in this film when it relates to the definition of surrounded. I think
Mhm.
I think when my daughter was born, I think that's a moment, when you sort of shed everything and you're completely in lockstep, and I think both my kids births, they were both done at home, my wife and I, and I think that when I think about the most sort of free moment, it's that moment there.
Now, you both have worked in a range of films, including Marvel movies for one, and other film genres. What was your experience like working on a Western film, especially for Surrounded?
Um,
Spoken it.
yeah, for me it was like, yeah, super different. I had never done something like that before, but I love the challenge of
Mm.
it. I like playing different characters and getting into their heads a bit, getting into their worlds as well. So it was cool. I really enjoyed it.
Mm.
Yeah, where the locations just offered us this amazing immersion, right? We were just really out there, and so much of a Western is the elements and the landscapes and everything. So we were so fortunate to have those places, and I'm chained up the entire time, right? I'm literally kind of physically trapped most of the time. So playing with that, and always having that tension on the chain and all that stuff was we were always kind of messing around and playing with that, but yeah, it's I always felt like we were kind of coming up with stuff as much as we could throughout. Like we were always kind of investigating and pushing and probing and questioning, always, which is always great, I think.
Mm.
Awesome. You worked on you worked on many things, from music videos to Monster, which I saw and enjoyed, and I participated in that junket as well. And this, I want to know, like, working on a Western, what was the experience like for you? And, did you learn anything as working on this kind of genre of film?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote my senior thesis in film school on the Western, so I've always sort of held close the tropes and love of the tropes, and it's this relationship of the vastness of the Old West with the sort of duality of characters as they meet, you know, oftentimes in a duel, and the definition of good versus evil, right versus wrong, you know, the man in black, the man in white, the, you know, those faces as they come together, and the simplicity of sort of, you know, people's actions and what happens when you act a certain way. Now, when you flash that forward with this film, obviously you take the base of those tropes and you add all the layers of race and gender and all of those dualities of the setup of this movie. I love the complexity of it and the simplicity of it and the way those two things matched, you know, in this vast, you know, landscape.
Great answer. Awesome. And final question. This film is also hits hard because it's actually one of the final performances of Michael K. Williams on screen. And you know, looking back, you know, can you reflect on your time working with him in the film and what was it like?
Yeah, really dope, man. Really, really cool, amazing guy. Honored to have shared the screen with him alongside Jamie. Honored to share those special moments with him, man. Yeah, really, really great artist. Really great artist.
But no, he's a phenomenal talent. There's just no question. He is like just 100% dripping with like authenticity and truth. And I said it earlier, but and it sounds kind of hackneyed, but like when you're seeing him, it kind of makes you check your own bullshit, like the kind of tricks that you're trying to do as an actor, because I feel like he's coming at it without those things. So it elevates your game, and it's such a terrible loss.
Agreed. And final question. With Surrounded, you had to work with Michael K. Williams, which is one of his final one of his final movies that we'll get to see him in. I want to know what the experience was like working with Michael K. Williams and any fond moments you could share about with him on set.
I got an amazing photo of him here with us today.
I see it.
1999.
Nice.
Michael was a friend of mine for over 20 years and someone I really loved as a human being. And this was the culmination of many years of trying to work together, actually almost in Monster, but it didn't work out timing wise. So it was my honor to direct him as an actor, and it's my honor to have his last film and watching him step into this role, which really is the opposite of who he was as a human being. I mean, every great role he played was actually not who he was as a person. He was completely the opposite of Chalky White and Omar and even this character. He was a beautiful, kind, you know, gentle human being who just knew how to play tough guys really well. But in this role, I think the duality of and the sort of manipulation of using trust and using race in the time to sort of get Mo Washington to do what he wants her to do, and really giving no sign that he would actually turn on her the way he does, especially in that time when she's now kind of trusting, you know, this outlaw who you'd never think she'd trust, and they sort of share this interesting sort of crossroads of their life. I think, you know, that sort of X factor of him coming in was created a lot of fireworks. I think you feel it in that sequence.
Glad you touched on that scene because that was a really powerful scene. Again, Anthony, thank you for talking with me today. I enjoyed the movie. I can't wait for everybody to see it. So
thank you very much. Thank you for your time.